Yo, what's up guys? So this Spectre has a damage over time aura. You can see the Spectre has a little red area around it. It doesn't seem that interesting at first glance. The damage seems to be quite low, and it doesn't have great attack damage either. But then I decide to start up a Searing Exarch with the same setup, just a one link in my tabula rasa. And the following happens. Yeah, so that's an insane amount of damage for a 1 link level 25 Spectre gem. So what is happening here? Well, this Spectre has an ability on a 14 seconds cooldown that triggers a spell that creates an aura around the Spectre that is called the Haemolytic Aura. Now this aura is super interesting as the damage over time it inflicts is based on health, but not the Spectre's health, but the enemy's health. At level 25, which is the level I have in my tabula setup, the base physical damage over time it deals is just over 7.7% of the enemy's health per second. Now this is very powerful, so I decide to grab 4 of them and add some support gems that I think are gonna help. As you can see however, the damage dealt is exactly the same. I didn't expect 4 of these to make a difference, as damage over time does not stack unless stated. But I did expect there to be some damage change, as I would expect for at least some of these support gems to apply. The only thing that applied however is the increased duration from efficacy and the duration for more duration support, which does help the Spectre as the base aura duration is only 5 seconds, meaning there is a lot of downtime with a 14 seconds cooldown. So why? Why are no damage support gems applying to it? That is because the damage dealt by this aura is fixed. This is similar to some caustic ground effects found throughout the game. This means that there is essentially only 2 things that scale the damage of this aura. One is Spectre Levels and the other is debuffs on the enemy. Spectre Levels increase the base damage of the aura, and with debuffs on the enemy you can think of anything that increases damage taken by the enemy, such as shock. So I decided to create a character that scales exactly those 2 things, and this was the result. Yeah, now we are dealing some crazy damage to normal Exarch. I will play a clip in the background where I kill Uber Exarch and Uber Eater of Worlds, making sure to stand in most of their abilities, definitely intentional. So this character skills one thing in particular, and that is the Pride Aura. It makes enemies take more physical damage, which gets stronger as the enemy stays in the aura. I am scaling a large amount of aura effect, and I am also using a vulnerability curse for increased physical damage taken. Stormblast Mine also increases damage taken by enemies up to 150%. And I am using 3 Spectres, 2 Demon Harpies to apply their stacking debuff up to 20 stacks, which applies 3% increased physical damage taken to enemies per stack, and 1 Pale Seraphim for 15% increased damage taken by enemies. Overall, this is a fun Spectre with a very unique mechanic that can deal significant amounts of damage to bosses. There is also a use case where you use them as a support Spectre to help deal with those pesky Soul Eater, Life Leeching, Regenerating, Invulnerability, Arch-Nemesis rare mobs for example, or if you have a build that deals 0 DPS, as the aura will just deal damage regardless. There are definitely cons however. Even with an Animate Guardian or Mercenary Explodey setup, clearing is very bad with these Spectres alone, as monsters just take a few seconds to die. Their AI is also not the best, they are scared and sometimes walk away, and you want enemies to always stand in their degen aura. So a source of aggressive, convocating them on top of enemies or predator support is very helpful. They also have a very low life pool and only 40% fire resistance base, so you will need to invest heavily into their defenses or they will just fall over. I would also suggest running at least more duration support to make their uptime a bit better. Their damage is reduced by the 70% less damage taken Uber bosses have, and is also reduced by physical damage reduction from any source that is not armor. Reduced effective auras would also make your Pride aura a lot weaker. It can also help to run 2 or 3 of these instead of 1, as their aura sometimes has a slight activation delay and it would just make their uptime a bit more consistent. The Spectre's name is the Trial Horror. It can be found in ultimatum encounters, and as always, all information can be found in the description. I am curious to see what kind of scaling methods or use cases you guys come up with. Yup.